3 years of freedom. Today we are celebrating the third anniversary of independence. Looking back at the broad sweep of events since we became free, my predominant feeling is one of thankfulness and relief. We are grateful to Providence that we have been able to continue our march towards growth. We have gone fairly ahead. In the world of today, every country has to tread warily along the road to recovery from the legacies of the last war. We had to be doubly cautious because, in addition to the troubles which a distracted world at large faces today, we had our own peculiar problems which affected the very roots of our existence, tested every fiber of our being, reacted on the very fundamentals of our life, and touched the very foundation of our infant democracy. There are bound to be different reactions to our survival. Some will call it the miracle of our staying power. Some may say that the country has escaped a worse fate in spite of us. Many will probably give us the credit for having muddled through our difficulties. We as government, of course, claim that despite our shortcomings, the ship of state has been steered safely through the many rocks and shoals that lay in the course. Whatever views, I am confident of one thing, namely, that if we have survived, it is because of our intrinsic effort in whichever direction they may have been exerted. We have relied on ourselves, whether in the external or the internal domain, and it is that self-reliance which has enabled us to achieve consolidation at home and prestige abroad. Today, therefore, if I have faith in future, it is based on this spirit of self-reliance. Nevertheless, I would not be true to myself if I did not confess to a sense of apprehension and anxiety. Certain tendencies and developments in our administrative and public affairs fill me with some disquiet and sadness of heart. The country can realize the feelings of one who has spent the major part of his public life in witnessing epics of sacrifice and selfless endeavors and feats of discipline and unity, and who now finds enacted before him scenes which mock at the past. Our public life seems to be degenerating into a fen of stagnant water. Our conscience is troubled with doubts and despair about the possibilities of improvement. We do not spend much time to think. We do not seem to be profiteering either from the history or from experience. We appear helpless to be watching the sickles of time taking away the rich corn in us, leaving behind the bare and withered stalks. Yet the tasks that confront us are as complex and taxing as anything. They demand the best in us while we face them with indifferent resources. We seem to devote too much time to things that hardly matter and too little to those that really count. We talk while the paramount need is that of action. We are critical of other people's exertions, but lack the will to contribute our own. This is not so good. We are trying to overtake others by giant strides, while we have hardly learned to walk. On this, the third milestone of our career as a free country, I hope my countrymen will forgive me if I have tried to turn the searchlight inwards. In my life, I have reached a large stage. I have reached a stage when time is of essence. Age has not diminished the passion which I bear to see in my country, my great country, and to ensure that the foundations of our freedom are well and securely laid. Bodily infirmity has not dimmed my ardor to exert utmost for the peace and prosperity and advancement of motherland. But the bird of the time has a little way to fly, and lo, it is on the wing. With all the sincerity and earnestness at my command and claiming the privilege of age, I therefore appeal to my fellow countrymen on this solemn and auspicious day to reflect on what they see in and around themselves, and with the strength and faith that comes from self-introspection, sustain the hope and confidence which an old servant of theirs still has in the future of our country.